All right, let's be for real. All right.
Shut those. Oh my god.
Okay. Welcome to Owlcast episode 9, I believe.
Yes, sir. That's right.
I am here with my friend Daniel Bie, an aspiring videographer and computer science major at Foothill College in his first year, and Ebrahim, our well-renowned host, who's been on the show several times. He's going viral as a direct result of the show.
Thank you guys so much for having me. It's a pleasure. It's always a pleasure being
Absolutely. On this. I'm glad that you're very enthusiastic to be on the show.
You know me, I'm always happy
It's
to
awesome
be.
to have
Always
you.
happy to be talking about my career and my awesome life that I've lived.
Yeah, I really like that vest of yours.
Thank you.
Yeah, does it pass the 2-finger test though? It does.
That's a wrap.
Wow.
That's a wrap.
My friend Ebrahim has revolutionized the clothing industry with his one-piece vest and hoodie apparel item. Does not pass the 2-finger test.
All right, so what are we here to talk about, boys?
So we're here to talk about several very important developments in our lives. But the first one is, Daniel, what got you into videography and why are you such a baller? Well, that's two questions. let's focus on the first one first.
First one, why did I get into videography? It started in high school, actually. I took our videography class in high school, and we had a really awesome teacher, Mr. Corpus. Shout out to him. And it was just really fun. Like, I had a really good friend, Dylan. Some of you guys may know him. He's a great guy, and we were just going around making videos all the time. Like, they were pretty bad videos when we started because we had, like, no experience. But, like, it was cool learning a new thing. And those were like prompt videos. Like you had a prompt and you had to do a certain thing. Like, for instance, make a video of this certain topic, like going to the grocery store and getting spaghetti. You have to turn that into a story.
Whoa.
Like that was one of our first videos.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah. And we did that, and actually I actually diverted from videography into more photography. Mm-hmm. And that was fun for a bit. Like, it was cool, like going out to awesome traveling places and like taking cool photos and like displaying them. But it was kind of boring, actually. Just like you go home, you edit your photo, you add some color grading, add the contrast, do all that stuff. So I didn't really like find that much enjoyment from it. And then I started watching some videos online, namely like Sam Colder, shout out. And
can you give some background on Sam Colder for those of us who don't know?
He's this guy on YouTube. He makes awesome videos for like chain smokers and everybody, and he just like lives awesome. Like, he goes like a new country every 2 weeks, and I thought that lifestyle is so rad. Like, that is my dream lifestyle. So I thought, hey, why can't I do that? So I'm just trying to build my resume towards that.
Yeah, totally. So this was senior year that you took Mr. Corpus's class with Dylan, or was it?
It was actually freshman year or sophomore year.
So you started really soon.
Yeah, and then junior year, senior year, I took photography.
Okay.
Yeah, so those first 2 years, I was really into videography.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, we were doing that.
Yeah, how would you say, like, did you learn, actually, like, so you're talking about, like, going home, like, for the photography class, let's just start with that, like, going home and, like, editing, like, the photos, did you learn how to do that, like, in the class, or was that something just, like, on your own? Because I know, like, I tried to get into photography at one point in my life, but it takes a lot of patience to learn, like, for example, like, using something like Photoshop, like a pretty standard, like,
Photoshop's
editor.
hard to learn,
It's complicated. Like, there's so many moving parts, there's so many little details. Like, how'd you learn that?
Well, our photography class wasn't really a Photoshop class. They taught us a little bit of, like, Lightroom and Photoshop. And Lightroom's a lot easier than Photoshop. You just turn a few knobs, basically, and you produce a decent quality image. But it was more of composition. Like, we learned what makes a good photograph, like where the subject goes, like background, foreground, lighting. We learned all of that, and that really comes into play. Like, even in video, when I like shoot, you always like shoot in these 2 hours called golden hour, and they're in the beginning of the day. Like, I think it's somewhere after dawn and the hour before sunset, and those are really the two good times to shoot because the lighting isn't harsh. And if you didn't know that, and you go out, schedule a shoot at 12 o'clock, and then the light's bouncing all over the person's face, you got blown out highlights, it's not going to look good. So, like, you learn all of that stuff in the class, which is actually really useful. So, and then you go home, you use their computers that they actually have, and you, like, play around with Photoshop to make your photos look good, or Lightroom in this case.
I love golden hour. just like an aside, I just like, especially in California, dude, we have a dope golden hour. Oh my gosh, like when there's like a tiny bit of clouds, like kind of like today. Like the sunset just bounces off the clouds, creates that red. I actually have a picture of golden hour kind of. I mean, I don't know, that's fake. There's like 2 moons in that picture, but, and there's 3. Oh my god, that's like some Star Wars thing. But like, yeah, the orange and the red and the yellow. Yeah. I'm sorry, I have like a sunset issue. It's a good thing.
No, there's nothing wrong with that.
I think
we accept all things in this household.
Oh, thank you. Oh yeah, thanks for having us over. Also,
yeah, no problem.
It's a really cozy room that you have here.
Thank you. Shout out to my brother for letting us use his camera in the previous episodes of the podcast.
What's your brother's name again?
Colin McPherson.
Oh yeah. That's a really good family.
Yeah.
Really kind-hearted people in that family. Yeah, great genes.
It's like. We'll accept your
good at Sorry. Yeah. So Ebrahim,
what's up?
I know that you've dabbled in photography, right? You have a nice DSLR. What was the main purpose for you doing photography? It's slightly different, right?
Yeah, I got the DSLR because I was doing a project called Ideas of Silicon Valley, so I don't really study too much photography. I just kind of got it so I could take high quality portraits, but yeah, I'm nowhere near Daniel's level in terms of obviously.
I mean, let's not boost this guy's ego, dude.
I definitely want to after the trip with you and Basil, I was pretty motivated. I mean, I gave my camera to Austin.
wait.
I was like
so motivated. He gave away his equipment,
but I'd already agreed to give my
wait, tell the story. I haven't heard this yet. What?
I was like, so we go to Tahoe and stuff, and Daniel and Basil are super into they're just being really creative, which is cool. Like Basil wakes up at 5 a.m. or something and drags us out to some golf course to take photos, and it's cool. It was inspiring. So I definitely, after that trip, I wanted to start doing more creative things, and I have a DSLR which was just laying in my closet, so I wanted to pull it out and
would you whip that thing out?
Pull it out and give it away.
Okay,
what a story.
Okay, yeah, I wanted to take it out.
You've got a lot of funny developments happening in your life recently. Questionable ones.
And I wanted to, but
what did you want to do?
Sorry.
What did you
I think in general, not even just photography, but I think after that trip, I wanted to do more. I wanted to do more creative things. Just get back into writing, or whether it's photography, videography.
Giving away your camera?
Well, Asha's hopefully
making better use of
it. I'm sure she is. But yeah.
Wait, you straight up gave it away for her to good?
No, it was an extended borrow.
It was an extended
for lifetime borrow or what?
Sure I'll hit her up if I really.
Is it free? Did she pay for it? Oh no, it's a borrow.
No, yeah.
She's actually borrowing.
Oh,
okay. What is she using it for?
She was going to LA for a little bit,
okay.
So I think she wanted to take some photos.
Awesome. Nice. Well, that's awesome. That's the first step in getting back into your passion, giving it away to someone, and then realizing how much you miss it. Right?
You never know you love them until you let them go.
That is so heartfelt, Daniel.
Yeah,
is that from a Chainsmokers song? Does that happen to be from Chainsmokers?
That's my boy Passenger.
Yeah, Daniel here is a
childhood friend of mine.
Passenger slaps. Let Her Go. That was a big song. I was straight up obsessed with that song in high school. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, but
what's your goal? So your goal, you said you kind of want that Sam Colder type lifestyle. Is that kind of where you want to be endgame?
Ideally, I would live a lifestyle a nomadic lifestyle. I would travel constantly. I don't need a house to live in. If I can just constantly be on the move, constantly going to new places, that would be so.
Do you want? Is that just when you're younger, and then what? Is this 20s to 30s, and then you get a family and settle down, or do you kind of envision yourself living as a nomad?
I don't like thinking too far ahead in the future.
Yeah,
I'm serious.
I can tell.
I'm just maximum 5 years. That's if I'm constantly worried about what I'm gonna do later in life. I'm not gonna be able to plan what's happening tomorrow.
I think 5 years is a pretty good time reference.
Yeah.
It's not like you're
you gotta you can't take
future,
a risk and the next day you get screwed over because you sold all your stuff to go do something.
You don't want to have
5
years is pretty.
You have to be smart about it. Yeah,
totally.
So I would love to get contracted by random companies, go out and film for them. That would be so awesome.
Yeah.
I'm not really too sure actually. Like, it's pretty simple right now. I haven't put too much thought into it. Right now, I'm just trying to like build a portfolio. So.
Yeah. Do you like the? Is it the traveling aspect that's really like enticing to you, or is it more creating those videos, or is it a combination?
It's actually both. That's why I love videos so much. Is that I love editing my videos just as much as I like going out to travel. Like when we're at Tahoe, like while we're skiing, like it was fun shooting videos, but the entire time I was thinking like, I can't wait to go back to our room and go edit this footage. Like I just want to get back to our room ASAP. You know.
That's awesome.
That's definitely a sign that you really like it.
Yeah. So I'm like, this is like the lifestyle I want to live, and that's what I'm working towards.
Do you feel like, this is like a weird question, but do you feel like filming things, like experiences, does that detract from your experience of feeling that, like being in that present moment, or do you think it doesn't, or it brings you even more pleasure like later down the line?
I don't think so. Not at all. I think actually filming and photography, like that type of art, has brought me to like appreciate the aspects that normal people don't see. Like I feel like I appreciate a basic sunset a lot more than just pretty colors. Like I don't know. It's just there's so much more you can appreciate about a certain image that you see with your eyes, like once you know like videography and stuff. Like I don't get people who say like, oh, just because they're taking a photo they don't like live the moment.
Yeah.
Like if you're taking a photo for the sole purpose of like getting a lot of followers and trying to get attention, like you're not gonna live in the moment. True. Like that's obvious.
That's
like,
a really good mindset.
Yeah,
I totally
but
agree.
if you're taking it because you want to capture that moment for yourself, and then you can like show it online, like you can do that, but like you're taking that moment for yourself and you want to capture it. I think that you can appreciate a certain image that you see.
That's like a huge differentiating factor actually, that like you're not doing it for other people to get like likes or like approval, like you're doing it because you actually enjoy it. And then a follow-up question for that, I remember, you also said that like notice like becoming like a more avid like photographer and videographer, like it's kind of like a double-edged sword, right? Like you enjoy it, but then like you're also looking for like shots, right? You also notice like the smaller things in moments. So is like that sometimes like kind of a burden or like annoying, or can you like tune that like photographer instinct out when you're like experiencing cool things?
It can be, but most of the time, like that time we went to Big Sur, like I feel like we wouldn't have stopped at that crazy place if we weren't to take the video there. We didn't want to go for like that reason. So it's a good like kick in the butt, you know, to get you doing stuff on the road that like you don't. For instance, if we wanted to go to Yosemite and we want to go to Half Dome, we might just hike to Half Dome, appreciate the moment there, but like you wouldn't notice all these cool things along the way. But, like if you're a videographer, you're constantly looking for things, like constantly, like there's no rest when you're looking for things. So I think it's a cool way to like get you into the zone, but once you're in the zone, it's up to you if you want to appreciate the moment or not. Like it's all up
like
to you.
having that like dial, like I just want to experience it, or I actually want to like you know be a little bit more picky about it and like get a really good shot. Okay, that's cool. And then I was gonna ask you something, but then
What?
So,
what's up, guys? We're back for another week.
That's how you know me too well.
You talked about like that balance between like, because I think the whole field of videography, that the goal is to kind of get the most amount of people viewing your video, right? Because that's the way you make a living in a way, correct? In a way, but how do you? Because you don't want to focus on that too much, right? Because then it takes away. So when I was writing, I felt I had that problem a lot where I was like, you don't want to write for people because then it takes enjoyment out of it. But at the end of the day, you are creating a product which you don't want 0 people to see
exactly.
it. So like, how do you kind of try to like balance that in your mind?
Well, for videos, it's actually pretty simple. Like you look at those, there's a way to attract views like everywhere. Like there's different ways for every single thing. You know, like you can have your thumbnail be like a pretty girl, and you have your whole video be like those random videos.
You see that with everybody.
Yeah,
even like Casey, the headliners and
Casey
Neistat.
I'm not sure about him, but like for some people, like they say like, oh, trip to the Bahamas, and it's just a video of this girl the entire time. Like you don't really
or the
experience
thumbnail
the
is like a picture of a girl. So you click on it.
So like you can design your videos for other people to watch, or you can design them for yourself, and in the process of that you can allow people to like
I'm sorry. Sorry. I don't know. Just, like, the way we're talking about these thumbnails, so casually, we're like, it's a picture of a girl. Oh yeah, it's a picture of a girl with a bikini.
I know, but they do that.
They do that.
Yeah, like no, we are. We're just being hella careful around the subject.
Yeah. No, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that.
No, yeah, people clickbait with
people clickbait. Yeah, it's a
females.
thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just a fact.
That's so big on YouTube, dude.
Yeah.
Almost every famous YouTuber. Does Sam Colder do that?
No, Sam Colder doesn't do that, which is why I love him. Like, his videos are like
he's
art.
Quality,
like, the stuff he creates is art.
He's
it's not
excellent.
I think there's a difference between art and business. Like,
yeah, when he goes to a place,
that's a big claim.
No,
but yeah, I know, I totally agree.
Some like art.
We need to talk about
videographers
that.
like Sam Colder. It's like art. You feel like that. But some of them, it's like a business where they're trying to get views, and you don't feel
exactly.
Yeah,
there's
Casey
not the
Neistat at times.
Yeah,
I think he actually makes some like quality blog. He leads a very interesting life. You know, Casey Neistat. He lives like a similar like nomadic lifestyle to Sam Colder. Less like going into like foreign countries and stuff, but like he's always on the move. And he definitely uses like the buzzwords in his titles, right? Like, this was the best day ever, or like, I just met like the most amazing person ever, or something like that. But yeah, there's like there's an art. Like his like videos, I feel like definitely like fuzz over into like where it becomes like a business. Like he's like essentially like a media company for like getting views on his vlogs, and I think he does a good job. Like I like his.
He's
vlogs,
a great guy. Yeah,
but,
I love his stuff.
And he has an interesting life, like, which helps a lot.
Yeah, people like Sam Colder, when they go travel, they let the setting do the talking.
That's awesome.
Like when they go to like random places, they let the culture, the people there do the talking. Not like some other people. I don't want to call anybody out, but like. When they create films, it's just the same people in different backgrounds. That's all you're watching. It's just a different background, you know. But other videos like Sam Colder, it's like that people happen to be there because that's his group of people, and you're experiencing. It's almost like you're there with them, you know. Yeah. You're there living it with them. That's what's so amazing about like videos. I think, in my opinion.
So and you can totally get that energy. I don't know why, but when somebody's doing it almost for themselves and not. You can like not to bring up like even Joe Rogan like but when he
Joe
when he records a podcast, you can see he really doesn't. He's almost like detached from like how like big he's very like himself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He just and you get that kind of authentic vibe of like
totally.
Whereas you can see like, other podcasts or videos where they chop every frame like 7 seconds and like you can see like they're kind of trying to present like an artificial image. Like you don't connect with the person, or you can connect with the video. Like I don't know why, like, it's like an energy you can feel like if a video is like
no, I agree yeah, like with Sam Colder's video, when you showed me that, I remember I was like pretty stressed out, and it just like, this is like cheesy, but like gave me like hope again. Like it kind of like made me like zoom out my perspective of life a bit more and say like, because I was stressed about like I think it was like during finals week or like right before finals week, so like my mind was like really just like narrowed in on like what I had to do, and then like I wasn't thinking about vacation at like spring break after. I wasn't thinking about like in the future when I'm gonna go on like a cool trip or something like that, or like transferring to colleges. So like just watching that video and seeing this guy like have such a great time, and I think like you were talking about like like splicing together like an artificial image. I think that's like Sam Colder's is like different. Although he is editing together, it's like you do get that like authentic energy from him, because he's like just with his group of friends. Like sure, he's like editing it to make it look better, but he's not pandering. He's not like guiding the user, right? The user chooses what they want to do with the video. I think that's like a big difference. He's not like pandering to what the users want. He's living his life, and it just happens to be like something that's like super inspirational. So I remember that like just like put my perspective, like gave me some like perspective and like gave me something to look forward to. I'm like, whoa, this is like really cool. Like traveling, like this guy's doing like a really cool thing. If I'm ever stressed, like I'm just gonna watch one of these videos and like see like how much fun like you can have if you just go out and like kind of be adventurous.
Ultimately, that's like what video and film even is for. It's to make you feel an emotion. It's to get an emotion out of you.
Or art in general, right?
Yeah, whether it's like a happy feeling like Sam Colder, or like a sad film, you know, like a movie that you watch that made you feel really like angry or something. It's always to evoke an emotion, and I think that's the most important thing. Like when you're creating a film, you don't create it as some artificial sequence of clips that is pleasing to the eye. You create it to like make someone feel something, like make them feel like they're there. And I think that's what's really important. Like,
yeah, that's definitely like I think the goal of art, right? To evoke some sort of emotion, and it's like it's beautiful because it's personalized to each and every person, and it's like it's, you know, what you make of it, and like what you make of it based on like so many different factors. Like I remember like for example like modern art, I used to think like you know, a long time ago that it's like, yeah, it's bullshit. Like you can like.
Well, there are some.
Well, there's some that are like questionable.
If you watch like Daredevil, like that one part, they literally sell a picture of a white painting.
Yeah.
And you're like, who in
there's
the right
like
mind will
there's
buy
like
a
you
white
buy a
painting?
canvas,
but then
nothing.
Well, I don't want to spoil
or
Daredevil,
like a rip
but like
in canvas. It was Daredevil the show on Netflix.
Yeah, the show.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but like the reason the guy buys that white painting is really amazing. Like, it's like a plain white painting, but like he evokes so much emotion out of it.
Yeah.
And like I think that's amazing. Like,
I think
the way art can do that.
It's symbolic. Like it symbolizes things. It like it gives you like it grounds you in a sense.
Yeah.
Like I've been trying to like decorate my room a bit more. Like in high school, I didn't do any of that, and like I would come into my room, it'd be bare. Like I wouldn't like lose anything from. I mean, I wouldn't like be negatively affected by not having anything on my walls. But like every time I walk into my room, like just like seeing different things that like brings back memories and like different things that have like some sort of like symbolic aspect to them, like just makes me feel a bit better. So if I'm having a bad day, I just look like, oh my gosh, like my varsity boys soccer team, like 2015, like we made it to the CCS semifinals. Like it was a great season. Like just little things, little like triggers almost in my mind that like give me like positive emotions. And that's why I think like when people go off to college, they deck their room out with like crazy things from high school and stuff, because I think like it makes people like feel really good. And I think art's like a great way to do that. Like I've been trying to like look into like some sort of art that like symbolizes some like struggle I've had in my life or something like that, because I think it'll be like pretty powerful.
Like just because it's simplistic, like modern art doesn't mean it's like any worse. Like I mean, you can't just place a stick on like a podium and say like, wow, this is some fantastic art. Okay, you could.
People have done it.
You could, but like in my opinion, that's not like, you know, art. Art's like something to make you feel. It's kind of hard to explain. Like, you know, like someone could feel something from looking at that stick, but like chances are they're not.
Like a dog, maybe.
Yeah.
like the best thing.
You know, most modern art, like I don't know how to explain it. It's very specific and made for a very specific person with a very specific emotion. I think that's what's like crazy about it.
But like, I would argue like, well, some modern art, in my opinion, is just like downright bougie. Like I think people are just like a little pretentious sometimes. And, like,
Okay, well,
it's just like beautiful. But like I think some modern art is like kind of general, and it's just like however you want to approach it. Like definitely based on like your mood when you're viewing it, based on like who you are as a person. Like definitely like how you interpret it is like different. Like I bet if you take like a sample size, I don't know. This is like complete BS. I don't know. But like if you take a sample size of like 100 people and you have them all look at the same like piece of modern art. Like I doubt any two people would like have the same interpretation, because modern art's just so abstract. Yeah, and it's just, you know, maybe like something like Van Gogh, like Starry Night, something that's like more like explicit, like in like its portrayal, like might have like a more like universal meaning amongst people. But like like a stick, or like I remember seeing something like a white canvas that was like ripped down the middle. Yeah. Like you look at that and like, oh my gosh, maybe it reminds you of a time when you literally ripped open your leg or something. Like when I broke my leg in high school or something. Or maybe it's a time like you liken it to like some relationship that's like torn, but you're trying to like sew it back together. Some shit like that. Like it's kind of fluffy at times, but I think people can like apply it. And I think it's like individualized to like different people.
That's what like creativity is, right? It's like making those associations between things. And that's like the beauty of modern art, is like making those interpretations between, or like linking like a paper that's like ripped in half to like something completely different. And, like I think that's one thing that we definitely lack a lot, is like when we went to Tahoe with you, is one thing I was thinking of is we don't do many creative things in society today, especially. That's like one of the main drawbacks of that corporate lifestyle, where you don't really get to express yourself in like a creative way and do those like, or express those creative energies. And something like videography or photography, I'm sure like allows you to embrace that. And I think it's what I tried to do after that trip is like, even if I'm not doing, like you're kind of trying to do as a career, but I think everybody can like 30 minutes in their day like spend time to like do something creative, whether it's writing or videography or photography. It just puts you in a different state. Yeah. And I think I think it's super
just important. Like everybody's so tired from work. They're doing a job that they hate, and they're just physically exhausted from that. Like they don't have energy in them to like to want to
the beast is
go home and like
from his slumber,
create something, you know, like It's hard, especially like when people hate their jobs and they're like sitting there from 9 to 5. Like
it sucks energy out of you.
Like, yeah,
is that like one of your motivations for like this nomadic lifestyle? Like that that fear of that 9 to 5.
Yeah,
I think we both
9 to 5 is scary, dude.
Like I think the 9 to 5, it's a choice, not a curse. Like you have the ability to say, I don't want to do this one job for the rest of my life. Like, yeah, you may need to do it now because you need to support yourself. Like you need to feed yourself. You need to like do everything, but I think if you work hard enough towards whatever it is you want to do, you eventually like you're gonna get there. Like, but if you give up and say like, oh, like I can't be this big, I can't start this startup that I want to start up, or I can't do this one specific job that I want to do. Like, if you just give up and say it's impossible, you're gonna be living that life forever.
Yeah. Do you think all good careers contain like an element of creativity in them? Like entrepreneurship, you definitely have to be creative because you're trying to think of something new, or stand-up comedy, or athletics. These are all, but careers that are like kind of life-sucking, or like monotonous, repetitive motions, early machines could do. Yeah. And they don't. So I think like creativity is definitely one of
I think everybody's creative. Like no one in the world is not creative. Everyone like has their own little things going on inside their head. Like
I think like everyone has the capacity to be creative, but I think society, like the 9 to 5, certain jobs like don't constrain people and don't let people like spread their wings or whatever.
Not everyone's willing to like do it,
Yeah. But like I totally agree with that. Like that definitely resonates with me. I'm like a strong believer that like you need expression is so important. If you can't express yourself, like oh my gosh, it's bad. Like in high school, I didn't like create anything. I didn't know how to express myself. Like we had a very outspoken school, I would say too, like around like current events and any issues that were happening on campus. Like when something controversial would happen, like everyone would be posting on Facebook. Do you remember that? And like sometimes like I don't know how productive that was, but just like not feeling comfortable enough to like participate in those things definitely constrained who I was, I feel like, and like definitely didn't let me like develop my opinions and develop. Like I just felt like constrained by that because I didn't have that like expressive like tendency and that like creative aspect to it. And like riffing off that, like I think creating taking 30 minutes out of your day to like create something, whether that be like a 1 paragraph blog post or like something like this, like a podcast, which takes like a little bit longer, or like just drawing something, I think is huge for the mind. It not only unwinds, kind of like what Daniel was saying, like after like a job that you don't want, but I think it clears your mind and it gives you like a really good sense of fulfillment. So like to answer your question, I think that almost all jobs, like almost all careers, like a sense of fulfillment can be to get that sense of fulfillment, I think there needs to be some sort of aspect of creativity, because it feels really good when you make something that's your own. That's like you have your own. It's
kind of unique. You kind of
leave. It's like you're contributing, right? Like you're contributing to the world. You have a role. Like I think that's so powerful.
I think there's also a social stigma that goes against creativity that's not like economic in a sense. Like it doesn't help you in an economic way.
I hear a lot of people say that.
Yeah,
like what's the point of art? Like I hear people say that.
Yeah, like sometimes. Starving artists, like you're not gonna feed yourself. So why do this art? Change to a different art that's more applicable. Like for instance, if you love drawing crazy cities, go into architecture. Like do that instead of drawing like these fake imaginary fantasy cities. And like I think that's hindering a lot of people in their terms of creativity that they want to do.
It's a capitalistic attitude. You have to like
it's a rat racing.
Yeah, it's that kind of.
You can't really do what you love unless you're making money with it. Like,
it's weird. Like the most fulfilling things are often the things that are the most risky too.
Yeah.
I think it's like almost intrinsically built. Like in order to become a good videographer, you're gonna have to. It's gonna be a tough road, right?
A lot,
100%. But I mean, that's why it's so. If it was easy, if anybody could do it, then like you want something that kind of brings you to a new level. And same with like entrepreneurship. I'm sure it's like one of the hardest things.
Totally.
But that's why it's fun because you grow as a person and whatnot.
And then going off of like the hardest things like can be the most meaningful. Like when I was doing research for Ebrahim and I doing this project for. This research symposium that's like around positive stress, and I was doing some research about it, and Kelly McGonigal, a health psychologist who studies positive stress and its benefits, she had another talk that I listened to, and she outlined that there was a global stress index survey, like a census, for like tons of nations. I think like over 100 nations around the world or something, and the higher the stress, in a nation, the more people felt like they were leading meaningful lives. So like literally, and she also asked the audience, like raise your hand if you felt like you had a pretty stressful day yesterday. And she said on average 33% of people worldwide will raise their hand to that question, and that of those 33 people, they are like much more likely to be leading meaningful lives than people who didn't raise their hand, because they're just, stress correlates to meaning in a certain sense.
I think when stress becomes like harmful is when you're like chronically stressed, and like I think, for example, like let's say you're a videographer, right? Like it's gonna be somewhat of a stressful life because you're kind of, there's just so much risk involved and stuff, and like you publish a video and you're kind of, at least when I was writing, I remember when I would publish something, I'd be kind of scared. You kind of want people to perceive it, even if you probably try to be a little detached, but you want people to kind of give you positive feedback toward your work and whatnot. I think that's like normal, like that's like, it's really healthy to have that in your life, that kind of feeling of being a little bit nervous before like projects coming out or whatnot. I think it's really crucial for a meaningful life. 100%.
And then, that feeling of course, like we're like naturally social beings, like we're gonna want approval like when we put something out there. So like I don't think you should try to like suppress that completely, because then like you're losing some of that like human aspect in a sense, because like you're going against your nature, and I think whenever you're going against your nature, like you're using energy to go against things that are like natural, like
whenever you're suppressing,
you're suppressing like there are there's good nervous system, like before you're like doing a project or a presentation or like public speaking. Like if you try to suppress that, like you're just using a lot of energy that can like just kind of mentally exhaust you, and that can be used for other things that are more natural, I think. But I also think that like creativity and innovation like go hand in hand. I think if we didn't have any creativity in this world, like we would not be making the types of progress that we're making, because like making those connections, like for example, like the modern art, you see something, like you see that ripped canvas and making that connection that, oh, maybe I'm gonna,
the aha moment almost.
It's like, exactly, it's like an aha moment that's like totally unrelated, and you need that. I think it's very important to like context switch from like disciplines to discipline. So like let's say you're like a surgeon and you're figuring out the best way to sew up like a wound or something, and you see that ripped canvas, and it's like you see it in such a way that you somehow get like some sort of epiphany about like, oh, this is how I'm going to suture up that ripped canvas. And I think that just thinking about the same problem in your field, like just thinking about how you're going to suture that wound, like constantly just to kind of exhaust yourselves, and you narrow your focus on the problem. But when you just switch to another activity, you get that perspective back, and you get more perspective back.
It's like, the guy who created a plane, he's probably like, when he was young, he's like, I wish I could fly. So then they went out, they created a plane. Like, it's all from like something that they really wanted to do when they were young. I think that's all what it stems for. Like, if you have no desire and like creativity, you're just gonna be stuck working for someone else, kind of thing. Like, you're not gonna make your own product, because you're not living a life, you're going through a life, So I think there's like a stark contrast between like the society we have now and the society that we could have.
Creativity
was like encouraged,
I think just like you guys in the beginning of the podcast, right? Like you guys were being so creative because you guys were like, that's when you're like feeling good and your sense of like intuition is really good and stuff, then you're able to like make those connections which make you kind of like be funny and whatnot. And like it's like that's what it is though. It's so cool. It's like when you're in a better mood and your sense of intuition is better, then you're able to like make a funny association with two things, and you're able to kind of keep up with that kind of banter. And like it's just so important in like both in career satisfaction, I think, and both in like a conversation. Whereas if you're kind of in the advantages of being in a bad mood are you're less creative and you're less intuitive, but you're more like vigilant. So you're more like second guessing things, and that's good for situations which are like you're in danger or whatnot. But it's like on the other hand, you're less like creative and you're less.
I totally agree with that. The first part of what you said, like that. No, both parts, but like
no, not the second part.
Not the second part. Not the second part though. Yeah. I'm gonna edit that out. No, like oh my gosh, the first part, like being. I like to think of it as like being like quick on your feet mentally, like mentally agile. Like when you're feeling in a good mood, like when you're not hindered by like feeling bad, like all these negative narratives that are or like overthinking. Like you have a clear mind. you can make those little connections. And yeah, for
That's
example,
fucking
like
beautiful.
those connections, like yeah, so it's not even like just career like innovation oriented. Creativity
Just
like applies to those
satisfaction.
interpersonal relationships too. Like when you're, I think a lot like first impressions are huge, right? When you have a first, like even I strongly believe that just like interacting with people on a daily basis, like kind of the first thing that you do to like greet them, like you see them in the hallway, like yo, what's up, dude? Like those are like really important moments, and like having that creativity to make those connections. Like maybe you remember that his sister's not doing too well, and like you just remember to say that, like, hey, what's up? Like how's your sister doing? Or like maybe you crack a joke about some sort of inside joke that you had in like English class the past quarter. Like those little connections kind of, I don't know, it builds that camaraderie between people. And when you don't have that mental agility and you don't have that creativity, because maybe you're stressed for a final and that's like weighing down on you, or maybe you have some sort of mental illness, I think that really that adds up. It snowballs and like really detracts from your interpersonal experience.
You're not able to enjoy those experiences as much because you're not able to, make those associations.
Yeah, make those associations.
And have that. Yeah, that fun time.
There's a bunch of those like little micro connections that you're making in your mind constantly. Like we're always taking in. Yeah. Oh my gosh, this is like a topic I'm like fascinated by.
Daniel, I mean, you're pretty into psychology too, a little bit. Were you?
I like psychology.
You're the expert.
Have you heard of Thinking Fast and Slow?
What's up?
Thinking Fast and Slow.
My opinions on it?
Have you read the book?
No, I haven't.
Oh, I thought you were pretty. But I mean, because you were at one point you were kind of thinking of switching.
I was thinking about switching. I still am, but I'm not exactly sure.
Dude, cognitive science.
Is it more because you want more time to? Because comp sci is really a time demanding major.
Yeah,
that's something that I've kind of been scared of too. Going into those tech like classes where it kind of takes away from what you want to do.
It's I think computer science is really fun to learn at my own pace.
Yeah, I totally feel
that. I feel like the way universities rush computer science to compress everything in 4 years it just takes away from it. Like I think a learning experience should be fun. And when they're forcing you like tests, these crazy tests where the average percentage is 50%, and that's like a B, like what does that tell about you? You couldn't do half the test, and now they're forced to learn new stuff. So
yeah, I feel like that takes away so much from because they put so much stress in it. It takes up so much of your time, and like it's not like the material is really enjoyable.
It's cool. It's fascinating learning about data structures.
Exactly.
That's fucking. When you have to learn 20 data structures in like 4 weeks, like that takes away from it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like,
so weird. What do you think, Sean? You're pretty into the whole tech scene.
Technical expert technician here.
Yeah, so you're gonna you're gonna unplug the router and you're gonna plug it back in. And you're gonna turn off the
TV. Don't have to wait for 30 seconds when you unplug.
Dude, honestly, turning things off and turning them back on is like
probably always do that.
Fixes over 50% of like IT problems.
Yeah,
just first off, just a caveat to people in the future. But
random bits.
My dad's actually like the IT dude of the house. But
my dad.
You're right, my bad. Stuart, yeah.
Oh my god.
And
this is one making clear.
But yeah. But look at that little connection. Great mental agility. But oh yeah, I totally agree with but yeah. Yeah. Ooh, connection.
That mind connection. I like it.
But yeah, no, at CMU especially, it was my first. So I was on the East Coast at CMU, which is like very rigorous CS school, and I had never taken a CS class, and I signed up for this accelerated CS class during my first semester there, my freshman fall semester, and holy crap, I remember being so excited, but like so excited going into like the first day of class, and then just slowly as the class went on, the work piled up, and the work was just inversely proportional to my excitement.
Exactly.
And my excitement just dropped. Like I do love CS, and like it just burned me out of CS. And when I got home, I needed to chill for like 3 months before I could pick up like and start programming again. But once I did, and I started working on some apps, like some iPhone apps on my own time, and I started just exploring different aspects of CS that weren't like forced upon me and say like, yeah, do this linked list, do this. Hey mom. This do these 4 data structures and all these algorithm problems in 1 week. I spent like 20 to 30 hours like each week just grinding with another guy in my hall, which was like a good bonding experience for sure, but so much stress. And then when I got home, I had to chill out for a bit, and then I started working on some iPhone apps on my own. And that was like when I started to regain that that fire and that passion.
Same with me. Yeah, when I started working on my kitchen app, I was like so excited. I was like, this is gonna be the next big thing. Like I woke up every day. Like I stayed up to like 2 a.m. some days working on it. And then as soon as school started and we were signing the CS class, even though I knew how to do it, just like the thought of being restricted and having to do work for someone else just totally.
It's almost like working for a company.
Yeah, it just totally took away from my creativity that I even had. Like I stopped thinking of new things like to do.
You used to give up so much of your energy and your time to. Not that it's bad. Actually, it's cool.
There's, I mean, a lot of high tech companies, to be honest. Like just from my experience at Nest last summer, like it's actually like a lot more flexible than I thought it was gonna be. Like it's a lot of high tech companies. Like a lot of people want to work there because they're honestly like pretty ideal jobs. Like you have a lot of flexibility. I remember going into my internship and most of it was learning, but it was like learning the things. Like, it was definitely, like, learning the proprietary things for Nest that I needed to learn to get my job done, but it was also, like, learning a lot of things on the side that I wanted to do. And maybe this was just my manager. My manager was a great guy, and he kind of let me choose projects based on my skill set, what the team needed, like a combination of my skill set, what the team needed, and any interests that I had. And so I ended up doing a project that I was pretty interested in, something that they had been wanting to do for a while, and I learned a ton while having the flexibility to design out my own project. So it's like a different level of freedom.
We're probably painting it in too much of a negative light.
Well, just like this, I think school is like a little bit flawed around
university,
certain
the way universities
disciplines too.
Even like just like the whole selection process and like the competitive spirit of schools
really doesn't
takes away from
because they expect students to come to class because it's fun, and that's the best mentality to come to class to come because you. And that's what I try to do. But the whole system kind of makes you try to think towards, especially gun, where gun was really about getting that A, getting to the next stage, and not about really enjoying.
Yeah, I think you learn physics. You learn so you could eventually join the workforce. You don't learn so you can
for the passion
gain
of
knowledge
itself,
and stuff.
which is really the funnest or the way you derive the most satisfaction.
That's why I love liberal arts, because I think liberal arts you learn for the sake of learning. And I think a lot of these tech schools that are cropping up, they train exactly what you said, Daniel. Like they train you to put you in the workforce. And yeah, sure, you're gonna be a great engineer if you come out of one of these top tech schools, but you're not gonna. One, it might not be as enjoyable. Some people like this, so obviously there's that group, and I don't want to discredit their experience through college, like because they like learning their material and being an expert in one field. But I think you're not developing. This is a big claim, but you're not developing as a person as much as you could if you kind of explore other interests. And maybe you explore them and you don't want to do them, so that's fine. So maybe you are developing as much going through a tech school, but I think. I don't know where I'm going with this, but I'm just going to sum it up and say I think liberal arts education is a better representation, very underrated, and is just a better representation of learning for the sake of learning.
It kind of has a stigma of
you will get a job
arts.
when you graduate.
Yeah. Like, what are you even going to school for?
See, there's a perfect example.
Like you're wasting money.
Yeah. But that's not why you should go to school.
That's literally what school is, to learn.
Yeah, school should be to learn and become a better person so that when you enter the world, whether you want to become like a videographer or whatever, like, it shouldn't be solely to prepare you for working for a company. Mm-hmm. Like, that's just a flawed...
Yeah, we're humans. We're not, like, little freaking workhorses. Like, is that a thing? No, like, lab rats? No. I can't find the right analogy. What's, like, a working animal?
Horses?
Pork horses.
We're not otters. No, those guys are pretty creative, though.
Beavers.
No, but those guys are creative, too.
Most hardworking animal.
By the way, I just learned today...
Ants, yeah, we're not army ants. Look at that.
No, beavers, they build their dams... It's all inherent. They don't learn it.
Yeah. Really?
They don't learn how to build their dams. It's crazy. So basically, we learned today.
Inherently selfish.
So you know why? You know what causes a beaver to build a dam?
Water.
The sound of running water, not just water.
I was kind of close.
So what this guy did, he put a bunch of beavers in like this empty room, put a speakerphone that said, I don't know. I'm sorry. There's like sticks everywhere, right? So they can build the resources to build the dam. And there's a speaker, and it played the sound of running water. And you know what the beavers did? They built a dam around it.
But how
they built a campfire and started singing campfire songs.
Were the beavers brought up in that room?
No, they know how to build a dam inherently.
Wait, that's a good question though. Was it like a controlled experiment? Were these beavers, had they built dams in the past?
No, it's like it's
So they were baby beavers.
Yeah,
So,
basically.
so he basically took the beavers away from their mothers or something, and then had them grow up.
Well, I'm not
Because remember the
exactly
beavers
sure like
saw
how
their
far that
mothers?
goes. But like no, but beavers.
Yeah.
You put a bunch of baby beavers,
believe
they'll
that.
still know how to build
Yeah,
a
yeah,
dam.
I believe that.
It's an extended phenotype.
Is that one of the
It's basically
biggest
like spiders and building spinning
debates?
webs?
Yeah. Extended phenotypes. No,
So
that's a real thing, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
and one
There's
of the
another
biggest
study.
debates in like the whole AI thing is whether our knowledge is like innate or whether it's
Nature versus
experiential.
nurture.
Well, there's a
Sorry.
Different things are nature, different things
For
are
instance,
nurture.
we also learned breastfeeding for like humans is not innate. We learned that. So
Really?
if you put
What
some
is
random,
innate for a
if
human?
you put some
Wait,
random
what?
girl in an island, let her grow up, let her have a kid, she's
She
not gonna
wouldn't
know
put
what
a
to
baby-
That's what you know what I mean.
No, so what they did,
I don't know why I worded
you know
it like
gorillas
that, okay,
in
but-
zoos, right? So when the gorillas were in the zoo, they were like their babies just couldn't get fed because the moms didn't know how to breastfeed. I'm serious.
I know, I'm sorry.
So you know
I'm
what?
just-
They had to literally
fucking
get a
mess.
human mother to like physically show breastfeeding in front of the gorilla, and then the gorilla's like, "Oh, okay."
Oh, okay, that's
Well-
what it's for.
Little Johnny, come on over.
The human mother,
Son, good job, see right there.
the human mother breastfed the baby gorillas.
No.
Okay. That's a great experiment. Mixing the groups.
And then the gorilla saw that, they're like,
Okay.
"Me too, me too."
Yeah, I mean, like, there's certain things that, like, it's a big debate, but there are definitely certain things that have been
What's innate,
established
though?
to be innate. Like,
What?
sex is innate. That's driven by,
That's
like
like a
hormonal
biological drive.
responses, right? Oh, I guess you're right. Yeah, it's different,
That's,
right?
that's not,
What is-
no, that would, what
What is
innate?
innate?
I mean by knowledge. Is there any form of knowledge that's innate?
Oh,
to
like
humans?
jujitsu and bears.
Yeah, exactly.
There you go. There's a
I'm just
This guy actually
Boa
thinks
constrictors.
bears know jujitsu.
Bears know
no
jujitsu.
chokehold.
Watch a couple YouTube videos.
Champs too, huh?
Chimps too, yeah.
Yeah.
Dolphins,
Dolphins.
starfish.
Yeah.
We just lost all our credibility right in that one statement.
Starfish.
Hey guys, we still have credibility. Trust me.
But I don't know, like at the topic of what is innate,
Yeah, what is
in a
innate?
human?
Well, let's think.
What's
Yeah, what's
innate?
innate in a human? Not much.
You think love is
Kinda-
innate?
We started.
Do you think we
No,
No,
know
knowledge.
these
It has to be some sort of knowledge.
Yeah, some sort of like knowledge of
Not
building
not
something.
biological, like because love
Like
could
flight.
be.
What about
hormone.
flight in birds? Like, is that innate? I'm pretty sure there's
They don't know
studies
yet.
done.
No,
Oh, they
I
don't
think
know
birds
still.
need to learn how to
Yeah,
fly.
well, I don't think they know. Yeah,
They watch their
or
mother
they
fly.
need to.
That's why like
but-
baby birds are so like in danger with their mom.
I feel like that could be a
They
pretty
fall out that little
easy
tree, they go,
study to do. Just take babies away when they're in the eggs and then hatch them and see if they. No, they don't need to watch their mother
No,
fly.
they're not
You
able
take
to.
a baby away from. You get. Birds are grown in eggs, right? Yes,
Yeah.
they're grown in eggs. You take those eggs away from the nest. You incubate them. And you break them open, then they fly around. Oh, well, no.
They
Like,
know how to fly. Haven't you watched that video? of,
Like one day
I'll fly
long?
Arab?
No, yeah,
Yeah, they
my
just
bad.
fall
The
off the
duckling
tree.
No, I know.
tree,
Yeah,
and
they
die.
sorry, they break open the. You know, you feed them. You do the bird feeding.
Yeah, I don't know if they start flying.
They live in the nest, and then they all jump off one by one. And the ones that don't make it, they just splat to the ground. But the other ones that do make it, they fly off. And maybe they don't need a mother.
No, because that's what their mother. They watched their mother
Okay,
fly.
I just
before.
lost all credibility for all of us. I'm sorry. But like, isn't that an easy experiment to do? You just take a bunch of eggs and you put them, or take one egg and put it in a nest and just nurture that thing until it breaks open, and then
And
feed
just
it
throw
some
off the
food,
roof and see what
and then
happens.
just see if it jumps off the roof and flies away.
What if
put
it
like a
just keeps
picture-
walking?
What?
What if it just keeps walking around on the roof?
Haven't you watched
Then
those?
there you go. Maybe it's not innate.
Haven't
gotta
you watched
do it
those videos
multiple
of, like,
times to make sure?
Dog grows up with like bunnies and shit, and like the dog hops like a bunny. That's
Okay.
all getting. That's us.
What
all
are you watching
learned.
at night?
I'm
That's so
serious.
funny.
That's why you don't get any sleep.
Search it up. It's like
Oh
dog
my
is
God.
raised by like hares or something, like 5 hares.
Hares.
It's a husky.
love that
so
word,
specifically like a
hares.
husky, and then it's like it jumps around, like it learns like how to move basically.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
same
I was
with
raised by wolves.
okay, dude.
I eat filet mignon.
All right,
like
Princess
them. I eat
Mononoke.
meat. Mononoke. Yeah, that's an interesting question. We discussed like a lot of really big claims in this.
All right, I got a
We
question.
have very
I got a
little
question.
credibility.
I got a question.
What's up, dude?
Inspired by your haters, how much of it, how little of it should you have to do it? For
Oh,
your haters?
inspiration.
I've thought about that a lot.
Just
actually.
do it
D.T.
for
Fletcher.
your haters.
That's
Talk about that.
I've actually thought like that's like negative motivation in a way, right? You're motivated by negative things. I don't know if that's very healthy because I've been in that mentality.
So do you think
mean,
we should
like-
have none of it? Like we should.
Do you
never
mean by
be-
haters, or do you mean like, let's say someone doesn't like you, right? Let's say like,
Yeah.
and you kind of want to prove them wrong. Do you think you should be inspired like that?
Yeah.
But then you're very dependent. Let's say you're a videographer, and this dude doesn't like you, and you're like, all right, I'm prove this dude wrong. I'm become a famous videographer. So now your identity is dependent on becoming famous to like go against this guy. So that's like a very dangerous reason to do something. And just in my opinion,
it's risky. No, I totally agree.
Risky.
That's a really good way to put it. Dangerous, because it could work, right?
Yeah.
You could make it really.
Or you could become bitter because if it doesn't work, then you're like, I want to show this guy like.
The way
but
I
if
like
it does
to think
work,
about
you attribute your success.
If it does though, but then
that guy's always in your mind, basically.
Yeah,
he never gets out of it.
But you might be able, like, once you're successful and you're in a better mind state and you're like kind of you detach yourself from that, maybe you can let it go a bit. Hey, what's up?
Whoa.
What the heck?
Oh, give me like 1 minute. No, but I like the way I like to think about it is like,
can you get out of my house, please?
You give is that your girlfriend?
That's my girlfriend.
Gosh,
sorry guys. Told her to come later,
but
told her 6:30.
Like, don't give like power. I like to think of it like, don't give powers to other, like don't give power to other people to make your own decisions for you. Because if you're always spending time thinking about someone else, exactly, you're giving them control over their lives. They don't even know it might happen. It's a narrative that you're creating, and
I've done that.
You waste. I totally
do it all the time,
and you waste a ton of precious mental energy.
At the same time, when you do it, you feel amazing.
When you feel amazing.
When you get big, because like one time he
Kids.
talked shit, he's like, yo, I bet you're gonna be a small boy forever, and you grow huge.
Kids.
And you see him next time, you'd be like, heck yeah.
I'm
the man. Whoa! Disclaimer alert.
You feel amazing.
Viewer discretion is advised.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I think being competitive is like in our nature too. Yeah. And it's like,
it's hard not to be competitive.
You don't want to suppress it.
Random fun fact. Humans aren't meant to be monogamous.
Yeah, it's true.
Monogamous?
I learned that today too.
As in have one partner?
Mm-hmm.
Are you sure?
So,
okay. You know this.
So basically,
males are meant to be monogamous.
I heard about this the other day. Yeah.
Why males?
So basically,
not
organisms.
Humans.
Why males though?
No, not males. Just humans.
No, why
are you saying males?
Why are you saying males?
I'm saying
not everything is about the male phenotype, bro.
I'm reading a book about the.
That's a genotype, bro.
Yeah. Right. But males want to have as much kids as possible.
Wait, what?
So why would that mean?
That has nothing to do with monogamy or polygamy.
I thought monogamy meant you're only with one person your entire life.
Yeah, but you can have as many kids as you want with that person.
No,
with a bunch of people.
Oh, so you let's say I'm monogamous with you, right? But I go and have kids with like 10 other people. I'm still monogamous. Yeah, fuck you.
Oh my gosh, bro!
Am I still being monogamous?
If you have kids with other people, no, that's a piece of.
Yes, I'm saying males won't have. Don't they have an evolutionary drive?
So it's up to you. Alright, so basically, how they found out was...
Hey, tell her to join the podcast.
Where was I? Oh yeah, okay, so humans... So basically, the closer resemblance an animal has with its female countertype,
the more...
Or even with, like, its other... Like, all the animals, like, the closer they look together, the more monogamous they are.
That makes sense.
Like, that's crazy, right? Like... These birds, they all look the exact same. They're monogamous, but when you look at two creatures that look very different, like humans, like for instance, how you know is like, I think our teacher was like, there's 3 different types of sperm cells. There's your normal sperm that goes and fertilizes the egg, and then there's these things called like hunter-killer sperm cells, which are designed to hunt other male sperm and kill them. So after you fertilize the egg, like they're designed to go.
Hold up! I just ended this debate. I was like, oh, my mom asked me, what are you guys talking about? And I was like, oh, we're talking about whether humans are naturally polygamous. And then she was like, yeah, males especially because they want to spread their seed. And then she was like, just like dogs. And I was like, bro, you're comparing males to dogs? She's like, yeah, basically. But like, so essentially, males are dogs. Yeah.
That's it. You're gonna hit.
You just added that information.
You're gonna
end of debate.
I gotta go too.
All right.
Oh,
we're gonna finish it up.
All right. Shout out to my boy Sean McPherson. But thanks to me for using this household of mine, guys.
Wonderful episode. I just want to thank my boy Daniel Bie, who passed the 2-finger test on his vest and shirt, and Ebrahim Feggy, who does not pass the 2-finger test.
There's my girl. I gotta go, guys.
All right, see ya.